ever thought to yourself, I have no idea what I'm doing with my life? If you have, you are in the right place. This is one episode of 8 parts in Season 3 of Ride the Tide Collective, the podcast, that will help you figure out what you are doing in your life and career. Regardless of your career status at this point, this short season will give you direction and thoughts to ponder that will help you find clarity moving forward. I am excited to help you take control of your career. Welcome to part 4 of our I Don't Know What I'm Doing With My Life season, where I am invested in helping you figure out what you are doing with your life and more specifically, your career. Today's episode is one of my favorites because this is a phrase I hear a lot from clients and I read frequently in social media groups as well. It sounds something like, I'll do anything, or I don't care what job I get or where, I just want or need a job. On the surface, this may sound harmless, and you may have uttered this phrase at some point in your life, but let me break down why it's not good to use this phrase or have this mindset. First, we all have preferences, even as young as high school. We have preferences in work environment, in managers, in the type of work we do, and more. The less we acknowledge our preferences, the more unhappy we will become and will likely end up saying to ourselves, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Or, how did I get here? Listen to part 3 of this season for more information about personality and preferences. Second, if you are desperate for a job, like I'm going to lose my home or my kids can't eat desperate, then yes, you need to go get any job and it's likely going to be a minimum wage food service or retail position. There is nothing wrong with these jobs, but they don't usually turn into a career unless you go into management. Needing a job to survive is very different than finding a career. Finding a career takes time, clarity, and connections. Third, this mindset assumes that you are letting someone else control the outcome for your career and your life. The more clear you become about what you want in your career, the easier it is to narrow down and put energy into applying to positions that make you happy, make you money, and fit with your career trajectory. When someone tells me they will do anything, it's usually because they are desperate, like I mentioned before, or they don't have enough information about themselves to make a decision. The easiest way to start clarifying your career interests is to use a system called the Holland Code or the RISEC. Holland Code has 6 different career interest categories of which you can be aligned with up to 3. RISEC is the acronym for the categories: realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. RISEC. These 6 categories help you start to define what you're interested in and, equally important, what you aren't interested in. For example, people who are drawn toward realistic are generally athletic or mechanical and enjoy working with things more than people. They tend to prefer the outdoors and working with their hands. I can confidently tell you that realistic is my lowest interest preference. There are a few careers I would consider, but overall, not a match for me. I'm not into the outdoors or working with my hands, but I love working one-on-one with my clients, indoors. Think about that for yourself. Would you gravitate toward a career that was realistic? A career in the trades, nursing, law enforcement, lab tech, pilot, chef, etc. Keep in mind, you can identify up to 3 interest categories. When you start combining interest categories together, your career options become more narrowed. Other than realistic, we also have investigative, which are people who are problem solvers and like to work with ideas more than people. Artistic are people who are imaginative, creators, and really prefer unstructured work environments. Social are the helpers who like to work with people. Enterprising are your business people. They like to work with people and ideas, but not things. Finally, conventional are your numbers people who love data and clear instruction. For those who got the guidebook, I have a section on Holland Code with a breakdown of each category and some sample careers to help you get started. Let's say you've been in the working world for about 10 to 15 years. You've been at a job you can do but don't love, and you're ready to really figure out what's next. In this case, you have the data that someone with less experience doesn't have. Think about every position you have held, company you've worked at, and manager you've reported to. What did you like? What didn't you like? What drained your energy? What gave you life? Being able to articulate what you like and don't like in what you have already done is a great first step to figuring out what to do with your life. And the Holland Code can also be helpful for people who have been working for many years because it solidifies whether or not what you have been doing is something that aligns with your true interests. Defining interests can be a lengthy process for some people because they have spent most of their life doing what someone else wanted instead of what they wanted. Other people have clear interests from a young age and are set on that path. Regardless of which situation you resonate with, either can end up lost and confused about the future. That is what is important to remember through this process. It doesn't matter what your profession, your upbringing, your path, or your interests. Anyone can reach a point in their life where they say, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Now that you have a few strategies to get you started, get to work. Clarity doesn't magically happen in a vacuum. If you have any questions, please connect with Ride the Tide Collective on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook. I'll add your question to our Q&A episode at the end of the season. For those who are really ready to work, I recommend downloading the guidebook complement to this season called I Don't Know What I'm Doing with My Life, A Guide to Career Clarity. I'll link it in the show notes.